What's up, YouTube? It's your boy AP, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to craft your own items, more specifically, how to craft the 3 most important gear slots for Spark Stormweaver. We're going to start things off with the +5 to lightning spell skill gems wand, then we're going to move into 35% movement speed boots, and we'll wrap up the video with the mana stacker breach ring craft. Now these are all profit crafts, so you don't technically have to be playing the Stormweaver build to make use of this video, and by the same token, you actually can be doing this for extra money as you map, even if you've already bought your gear and you're happy with it. Now, the nature of crafting in this game does require you to have a lot of bases, so accompanying this video is going to be a link to my own loot filter, and this will highlight the specific bases we need to craft. So, as you're mapping, you're just going to be looting all these white bases, and then at the end of your play session, you could just follow the instructions in this video, and hopefully you luck out and get some nice high value items through the crafting. Since picking up these bases is a key part of the crafting process, I'm going to first demonstrate what the bases look like if you're using my item filter. So for wands, we want either an attuned wand or a siphoner wand, item level 81 or above. It needs to be that item level to hit the +5, and these 2 bases give us +5 lightning. This is a purplish color. For the boots, it has to be item level 82 or above, and we want one of the best energy shield bases. So we're going to highlight 3 different bases that are acceptable. The reason it needs to be 82 or above is that's the threshold for hitting 35 movement speed. For the breach rings, they just look like an exalted orb. We pick up a lot of these, so I'm just making it more of a normal color. And if you want to subscribe to my filter, eventually, if you're watching this in the future, there will probably be a filter blade link in the video description, but for right now, we have to manually input our filters, and I'm sharing it on my Discord channel, so you can find a link to my Discord in the video description or on Twitch. And then you're going to go to the Archmage Stormweaver category and just look at the pinned messages. Right now we're on strict version 10, and I guess every few days or so you can come back and see if I've made a slight update to it, as this is where you're going to find it for the time being. Okay, for the wand craft, we're going to be hitting these wands with the essence of electricity, and this is going to give us a 1 in 48 chance to get +5 to lightning spell skills. That doesn't sound too crazy, but if we go to price check what simply a +5 gives us, it's 6 if it has a bad modifier, but this is going to have an isolated +5 to lightning spell skill gems. So what is this worth? The cheapest one right now is worth 9 divines. So you have a 1 in 48 chance to make 9 divines here. And if you are just trying to make small amounts of currency, this is where you stop. If you want to risk it to get a crazy wand, after this, you're going to hit it with an augment to get a random prefix. And if that prefix is terrible, maybe you just cut your losses and sell it 6 divine. However, if you get a decent prefix, now you can use a greater essence of haste to guarantee a speed modifier, and there's only one speed modifier, which is cast speed, which is coincidentally the second most important modifier we can get on our wand. So by spending this large amount of money, now we're essentially going to have the +5, a decent augmented prefix, and cast speed guaranteed. After that stage, you have 3 modifiers and it's rare. The only thing you can really do is Exalt Slam 3 times and pray for the best. However, there are a lot of great modifiers on wands, as we can see from the Craft of Exile website. So you will generally have somewhat of a decent result here. For all your crafts, you guys should be referring to this website called Craft of Exile 2, and make sure it is Craft of Exile 2 because there is a almost identical version for Path of Exile 1, and it's going to give you the wrong numbers if you're using that one. I'll have a link to this in the video description. So this is how we know it's a 1 in 48 chance to hit the +5. The essence of electricity guarantees a lightning modifier on a white item. And as we can see, there's only two options that have a lightning tag. There's 5,700 waiting to get percentage increased lightning damage, and then there's 2,575 waiting to get all lightning spell skills. And to get the specific one we want is 175. So the math for this would be 5,700 plus 2,575 divided by the weighting of plus 5. That gives us 47.28 rounded up to 48. Next up is the boot craft. For this, we're going to be using the Essence of Haste to guarantee movement speed as the first roll in these boots. There are 6 different tiers of movement speed, all equally weighted. So we have a 1 in 6 chance of hitting the jackpot 35%. And if we hit 30%, it's probably still worth finishing the craft. So we start off with the Essence of Haste, and then we continue with an augment, which will then give it a suffix. If we look at boot suffixes, they're all going to be useful for some builds. So we're just trying to get a high roll here. And if we do get a high roll, you have the option of using a regal or using a greater essence. Now, if these boots have a really good suffix for us, I would recommend using a greater essence of the mind, because these aren't too expensive and they guarantee mana. And if we want to use these boots, they're going to have a top tier mana roll. Essence of the mind. What did this go for? See, this is only around 25, so it's not even that big of an investment. And if that hits high tier mana, well, now it's going to be rare with 3 good mods. You have the movement speed, a good suffix, and the mana roll. So at this point, you just Exalt Slam 3 times. You're really hoping you get some form of energy shield in the prefix, and you're hoping the 2 extra suffixes are useful. And yeah, that's the extent of the boot craft. Not too complicated either, but you can definitely make some really nice boots, whether for yourself or for reselling. Now to touch on the final craft for breach rings, and after this we're going to transition into some B-roll footage where you can watch me actually doing these crafts live on stream. So for the breach ring craft, you're going to want to have a bunch of these since it's pretty high variance, and we're going to slam it with Essence of the Mind to guarantee a mana modifier. What we're aiming to hit is either a high roll to maximum mana, this can be up to 180, or a high roll to increase mana regeneration rate, which is 60%. And please keep in mind, since we are using breach rings, if you hit something that's pretty good, you can slam it with a bunch of neural catalysts to boost the quality up to 50%. And this is going to multiply these mana rolls by 1.5. So technically, if you do hit 189 to maximum mana, that turns into 283. And if you hit 69% regeneration rate, that actually turns into 103%. So what we're looking at to start with is underinflated numbers since we haven't hit neural catalyst yet. Okay, so you're going to have a bunch of pretty bad rolls since the range is just, there's 13 different tiers, and then there's 6 different tiers here. Also, there is one option right here. This is pretty low weighting, but you'll sometimes get these. It's a low amount of mana regen with light radius. I consider these bricks. So if you craft a bunch of them, you'll have some with like decent, some with decent here. You're going to take those and craft those further. So we start off by simply hitting it with an augment to see what we get. Prefixes are a little bit harder to get than suffixes. So if you do have the maximum mana, you're likely going to get something decent. If you have mana regeneration rate, all of these are bricks. This is brick, this is brick, this is brick, this is brick. But honestly, prefixes aren't too important. So even if you brick one of your prefix rolls with this damage to attacks, we're a spell so it doesn't do anything, the ring can still be pretty decent. I do believe my ring has fire damage to attacks. There just isn't that many good prefixes to begin with. Okay, so assuming you have 2 somewhat decent rolls and you want to continue on from there, you have a few options here. I would generally suggest you either do the greater essence that gives you caster, because that will guarantee you cast speed. And if you want, you could opt for the greater essence of the mind to get the second mana roll, because we do want to have the flat mana and the percent mana. So either one of these options would be fine. You know, it's the greater essence of sorcery guarantees you cast speed. And that one costs 70 Exalted Orb. The essence, greater essence of the mind, that was like 24, right? So you would opt for that. And I guess I can just talk about what I value to hit on a ring. The ideal ring would probably have percent lightning damage in the prefix. It would have rarity of items in the prefix. It would have a nice flat mana. There's actually really no other good prefix rule you can get. So if you get all three of those, you're really, really lucky. In the suffix, cast speed is a great form of scaling damage. Mana regen feels great on our build. Increased rarity is really nice, again. Otherwise, honestly, almost all the other suffixes are fine. Attributes, dex, int is great because that gets translated directly back into our mana pool. You know, our build has some strength requirements, resistance. It really doesn't matter, but these are the big things you're trying to hit. And you're always going to be Exalt slamming after you do the essence with a decent aug and then the greater essence. The last three are always Exalt slams. Okay, so that's the crafting process. This is a nice way to make some extra currency by picking up some white bases while you're running through the maps. Let's transition into the footage from my stream so you can see what a crafting session looks like. Okay, we're gonna Thanks for the sub, Gotcha Junkie. Get the mana modifier? Well, it's what I was doing. Essence of the Mind. You see, we're looking for high percent regen or high flat mana. Some of them will get it. Some of them won't. So we didn't get very many this time. We got quite unlucky. 145, that's T10. I only have T9 on this one. So we hit a prefix. We probably just augment it to get a random suffix and then do a caster. If it's a good aug, then we do the expensive sorceress or whatever it is to add cast speed. But if it's not good, then we just regal and we just slam it. So let's see. Hopefully, what suffix do we want? I don't know, like high rarity, high mana regen, high cast speed, something like that would be nice. Intelligence. That's actually... What roll is that? 23. It's like a mid roll. Wait, I'm on Craft Exalt 1 here. Am I? Why does it say tier 1 is the high one? This is weird. Those tiers are wrong. Whatever. This one. Dex. So this is not good. So for this one, we'll just see what happens. I don't even think it's worth doing anything else. That's just bad. So the question is it worth us to spend like... I don't know. These things are pretty expensive. I don't know if it's worth it for this. I could guarantee cast speed, but I don't feel like this is good enough. It would cost a lot. So I'm just gonna... We're probably gonna make this worthless. Whatever. That's pretty bad. Crafting is hard. That removed the mana and added mana back. Now it's totally bad. Whatever. I don't know how I feel about crafting. I feel like there has to be a middle ground where it's not as easy as PoE 1, but it's not this completely like Papega RNG. This is good. We got something good. Caster is cheaper. That's why I'm doing caster. Yes. I'm guessing speed is used for like bows and boots, which is why it's more expensive. I don't know exactly what people are using it for. Oh wow, that's good too. We actually got some decent things to work with. Are these augments gonna hit? Holy shit, that's good. What? Maybe I just sell that if I don't want to take the risk. What is this worth? It's a blue item. I don't actually know what the market is for this kind of stuff, but like, this on a blue item. 2 divines. Whoa, wait, no, it needs to be a breach. Breach rain. We'll probably just craft for the memes. We'll break it, but yeah, it's quite expensive. It's 2. 2 and 3, 1 and 4. In fact, wait, no, it's actually 4. Should I sell it for 4 or 5? Because it's gonna be like, these are significantly worse. If all blue one, just leave it 2 left. So our little crafting mission was a success. We can hit this on it. We're 250 and 90%. No, we're not stopping. We're gonna go one step further. It's okay. I don't really have too many crazy upgrades we need to make anyways. We can just do the Gamba. Pray for like 20-ish cast speed is good. If this is 10, it's gonna feel really bad. $16. Mid. That is the mid roll. It's not bad, it's not good. Now we finished the craft. We just hit 3 times. We want to hit... What do we want to hit? Intelligence in the suffix would be nice. Lightning damage in the prefix would be nice. A rarity in the prefix or the suffix would be nice. Why would you Omen? What does Omen do here? It just saves an Exalted Orb or what? There's... Exalted Orbs are worthless. Why would I do that? Okay, fine, we'll do it. It's pointless, but I think I have one. Alright, well, this is that budget crafting right here. What are we gonna get with a double Exalt? Fire res and fizz damage to attacks. Oof. At least the fire res is kind of high. Prefixes are really hard to hit. The odds of this hitting something good are so small. Let's see what happens. Life. What can you do? What is this worth? None? Wait, let's not do the fire res. So it's worth around 5 div. We didn't lose money doing this. We lost 80 Exalted Orbs hitting the Essence. Yes, maybe worth a little bit more than 5 since it does have the fire res. Somebody's going to need the fire res. In fact, if I take off this shield, I will need that fire res. So like this could be good for me, but this has rarity. This has more mana. I kind of like the rarity. I'll put it up. I'll put it up for 8. Oh shit. 11 div sale? Maybe we crafted this on stream yesterday. Yeah, that was what we crafted yesterday. Fact. No, we're not gonna swap it. That guy saying thank you got censored. What the hell did he say?